Yeah.
You can't get better at anything without taking some criticism. I mean, just speaking from
You're refining.
Right, from my experience, public speaking. That's something I do, and I've taken classes in. The way you get better is by your instructor, your teacher, your coach looking at you and say, you know what, you say too much.
Right.
You cross your arms too much when you speak. You lost your train of thought in the middle. What went on?
Right.
Those are criticisms. Or you need to open with something better that really didn't gain my attention. Right. Things like that make you better and refine you what you do.
Yeah.
So...
one of the things that I told Judah was that, you know, and I don't have very accurate stats on how many people are listening to the show, especially now that we're on KNXT. I've got no idea how many people watch KNXT. It could be just a couple thousand, or it could be much more. We probably have somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 listeners plus whatever from KNXT,
which is pretty awesome.
Which is fine. I actually would like much more, but that's as a decent guess. As we've got maybe let's say 4,000. Okay, I know right now of 5 pro-choice people that actually listen to this show, and probably still do.
That is an impressive percentage.
So, just from a number, so just like in the thought experiment, let's say we are helping pro-lifers and pro-choicers equally, which I don't think we are, but let's say if that were the case, just from a pure numbers game, I win. We're doing more good than harm by, you know, I mean, and there might be more pro-choicers that haven't contacted me, but it's certainly not half of our audience.
Well, that's like Nielsen ratings and stuff like that. Like for TV shows, when they get a complaint, they rate that as, I believe it's like 5,000 complaints for every one that calls in. So if we have pro-choicers that
have actually contacted us.
Well, no, I'm just saying percentage-wise. If we have ones that have contacted us, then I would think or assume there are ones that
maybe there's 5% of our listeners are pro-choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a fair.
But we still cause more harm than good.
I think that those statistics.
More good than harm.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Change it up.
No, I think that even
no M&Ms for you.
Good and harm.
Even with those statistics, though, because we're an online show for the bulk of it, and our televised part is on a Catholic television station, that those numbers are going to be mixed different.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know how we do the statistics on that. If all of our listeners were pro-choice and our show was exactly the same, I still don't think we would be aiding them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, see, like one of the things, like, I mean, just, and I didn't tell this to Judah, but just like looking back, I remember we had a pre-show meeting a while back, and I was looking back through some of our really old, like my original kind of podcast documents, looking at like the goals that we had set. And one of my original goals had been that pro-choice people would listen to the show. Not that we were going to cater to pro-choice people, but it was just never going to be a show where we're going to make fun of pro-choice people. I remember one of the first episodes, Carrie said Planned Parenthood is Satan or something like that, and we cut it, and we got into a big argument about it because I was just like, that's not helpful. I don't even know what that means, but even if it was like that, that's not helpful to me. Well, I want to actually take them seriously, take their arguments seriously, and them seriously, and for pro-lifers that are looking for us to make fun of pro-choicers, this is just not going to be the show for them. And I was really excited when we got pro-choice people. Now, when I put I try to imagine a pro-choice person listening to the show, I really don't think that we've really helped them. First of all, because I think usually pro-choicers are kind of aware of that these are bad arguments. I mean, pro-choicers talk about this stuff all the time. Pro-lifers haven't as much about those arguments. But, I mean, they've heard what? A pro-choice person has listened to that's 80 hours of pro-life audio that they've heard.
Right.
Of, I think, for the most part, really good arguments. There are things that I've said on the show a long time ago that now I would actually say differently, and I've changed my mind. That's just normally, that's just what happens. Right. And things that I'm like, I wish I had come a completely different direction back in episode 30 or whatever when we talked about this or whatever, because I've just changed my mind. But I think we've given really decent pro-life arguments and thoughts, and pro-choice people are taking us seriously, and it seems like that can only help, at the very least, makes them more open to having conversations with other pro-lifers in the future.
I would agree with that.
Nice.
And that's that.
As would I.
Here's another thing. So one of the things that Judah said was she was concerned. It sounded like we actually might cause more abortions with this show. Remember, the last sentence in her thing was, if you're equipping the enemy with ammo, then lives are being lost at the clinics. And I was thinking about that statement, I imagine what Judah is saying, and it sounds like to confirm with this when I asked her about it, was that she's thinking there's all these sidewalk counselors outside of Planned Parenthood clinics or other abortion facilities, and these sidewalk counselors are going to try to talk women out of having an abortion, right? And maybe though that woman or her boyfriend has heard our show and is able to kind of combat the sidewalk counselors with stuff that they heard on our show that they wouldn't have already had, and then the girl who theoretically would not have had an abortion, she has an abortion.
Okay, when we're dealing with theoretics, just kind of throw that out there. Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, what I was going to say is, all right, the scenario that you painted is a sidewalk counselor and a woman who's come in to have an abortion.
Right.
The percentage of sidewalk counselors to the percentage of abortions done is so small of a fraction. So the chances of an actual sidewalk counselor listening to our show, because of the number that are out there and because of they're doing this, they're passionate about it, I think is so much bigger than those that would actually come in. If we're doing 4,000 plus abortions a day, then
or 3,300, which is what we've said on the show.
3,300 plus.
It's closer. Just so you know. Okay, but that's okay. Sorry.
Right.
Okay, 3,000, and there's how many do you think realistically? A couple hundred, not even a day, that are out there over across the country?
Sidewalk counselors?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think it's probably there may be more than that. I think it's hard to.
David
B. Wright could probably tell you.
All I'm saying is the chance of a scenario like that is so small that. And let me put it this way: if the man in that situation, the boyfriend or husband or whatever, or the woman who's coming to have the abortion, has done research and listened to our show, and still not done it, I think they're too far lost in that situation for us to reach them remotely.
Yeah, I'd come at it from a completely different angle than you, but that's okay.
But maybe the sidewalk counselor could.
I was going to agree with Andrew that if you, in considering an abortion, whether you're the male or the female, and you've listened to our show and still
you can have an abortion. Yeah.
Yes, you can still.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
But the odds of it just doesn't seem.
I don't disagree with what you said, but my response to Judah was different than your response.
Okay, well,
I wouldn't go with the statistics. My response was I've done more research lately. We're getting ready to do local sidewalk counseling trainings here because we've got some sidewalk counselors in Fresno, but not enough. I feel like a Fresno Right to Life, we should be trying to end the abortions in Fresno, and so we want to try to encourage and train stuff. We'll probably do like a once every 3 or 4 months training here, and we're getting that ready. So I've been helping do some of the research for that and learning more about like women's psyche that are considering abortion from other people that have done a lot of research on this. And most women, according to the research that I've done so far, that are having abortions are not necessarily doing them based on pure logic or pro-choice argumentation. Like there's not a lot of women going, my body, my choice, so I'm going to have an abortion. No, a lot of women are just they become pregnant, and it's like
fear.
Get this thing out of me is a common phrase that women think, or I need to not be pregnant anymore, or this is going to ruin my life. I mean, it's a much more emotional, fear-based thing, and so when women go out there, a lot of times sidewalk counselors that are the good sidewalk counselors are not necessarily using that many of the arguments we talk about on this show.
You probably wouldn't be saying it's bad for the economy for you to be coming in and having that would probably fail, but even if it was true.
And that's a bad pro-life argument.
Use
but
that
even the good pro-life arguments, like talking about the unborn being alive and growing and human and as a person and sled, that kind of stuff doesn't always work on a sidewalk. And on a sidewalk, a lot of times it's more. Do you know how many women are hurt by abortion? There are better options. You know about adoption, the pregnancy care center.
The heartbeat is one that I've heard.
Heartbeat is a huge thing. That's what's on our billboard at Planned Parenthood. And so, I mean, and we've said on the show, you don't have to. I have no problem with people using even bad arguments in front of us. For me, the save the life is pretty much the priority.
I think just the fact that you're putting yourself in a position to have the argument means that you're stepping out of your comfort zone to do it, and that's what we want more than anything.
Right.
It's harder to do that. It is very difficult to stand in front of a Planned Parenthood and do anything.
Right. So I have a hard time imagining a scenario happening where the woman comes to the abortion facility to have an abortion, decides to actually talk to the sidewalk counselor, and because the woman has heard our show and heard us talk about those weak arguments, and the sidewalk counselor used the weak arguments, and that's what pushes her to have the abortion. I just don't see that being the case.
Basically, I think that sides of what I was saying.
That's kind of what, yeah, okay. I wouldn't have done it with the statistics. I was
Basically,
sure
I was
statistics.
so good at being right.
I tend to try to not do anything with statistics, so.
Anything. Well, yeah, it's because it's so theoretical. It's like I try to figure out how many counselors there are, whether like could this happen on a daily basis.
The whole scenario is hypothetical. We have no way of knowing if that happens. I mean, it could theoretically happen, but it kind of goes back to like, are we responsible for that when we're trying to teach and train pro-lifers to use better arguments?
Well, because I don't think any of our content is directly helping pro-choicers.
So you completely disagree with even the idea that anything we say on here could actually give ammo to pro-choice
I think
people.
they could use it that way.
Well, with the explanation that, yes, when you, like we had said, when we're researching the other side, you can go and you can pick little excerpts of things to strengthen your side. So yes, they can do that, but that's nothing that would make our show, I believe, inherently wrong or flawed in that way.
Gotcha. Okay, so you would say Life Report does not inadvertently harm the pro-life movement.
Correct.
It certainly doesn't
inadvertently.
No, I mean,
no, she was.
I'm trying. I was like,
she was taking off the.
We're not doing it on
directly,
purpose.
but I was like vertently.
But no one thinks that we're purposely.
It's
not inadvertently.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone thinks it's a conspiracy or a bunch of pro-choicers sitting in a studio pretending to be pro-life and giving
See, that would be a conspiracy gone wrong because we're really helping the pro-life movement.
But that's your argument,
if
Judah.
That is our conspiracy. We are failing.
But that argument would be flawed because you are proving a point by its own point, because you were saying that we are not. So that argument would be weak argument because you are saying that we are not helping pro-choicers because we are helping we're not helping pro-choicers.
This is called a circular argument.
Yes.
Because we're not going anywhere.
I have no idea what you're. I mean, I just like halfway
She's
through that.
She's proving a point. She's saying this is red because it is red. That's her argument.
Okay.
Bingo. Circular reasoning. So, in other words, you wouldn't be able to prove that we had that effect even if we had that effect. So
to clarify, to sum up, because this has gotten confusing in the last
Our
90
listeners
seconds.
are totally keeping up.
Blame me. I'm just sitting
I wasn't
here.
going to blame her.
Whoa. You can't blame
you
Josh
be
today. You cannot blame Josh today because he brought me candy and chocolate.
He didn't bring me candy and chocolate.
Yeah, I brought you. It's for you. It's a communal bowls. It's for you as well.
I'm just saying.
You're equal co-host to Liz, no matter what she may have said to you off the air. Equal co-host. She's just been here longer. I don't know.
Don't I have seniority?
So the clarification is a lot of the when we're talking. I mean, a lot of the things that hopefully that we'll say are helpful to all pro-lifers. Like I think last week when we talked about using Facebook. Well, a lot of pro-lifers on Facebook, whether they're sidewalk counselors or whether they're on college campus or whatever. But when we're talking about argumentation and bad pro-life arguments, this is more for helping people that are like at Justice for All. When you're going to go out on a college campus and have a logical dialogue or a debate about abortion, this is more helpful for that. I was for a sidewalk counselor. Whatever you find seems to work the best, I'm fine with. I'm not going to call you, it's a weak argument because you talked about abortion hurting women. I don't care. We want those lives to be saved.
And we want you out there.
And we want you out there talking to people either way. That's our show.
You've been watching Life Report, Pro-Life Talk, Real World Answers. Life Report is produced by Right to Life of Central California. Visit their website at fresnoprolife.org.